Not every idea that crosses your mind is a good one, and just because you know that you could push yourself hard enough to do something maybe doesn't mean that you should. Hey Flosstube, I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle, and it's my first Flosstube update in a while, and I've done very little stitching because if you watch the channel, you'll know I got hurt, and that's really messing with everything, especially things like stitching and quilting and knitting, because when you have to prioritize, you get the things done that need to be done to keep the house going, and sometimes the things you have to skip are the things you would most likely like to be doing. I went to pull out my projects last night to do this update, and none of them were in their project bags. That's because when I filmed my last Flosstube updates, I left them tucked in with down memory lane, but it took me a few minutes to figure that out, and thank goodness it didn't take long. I have been looking at the calendar, looking at my planner, thinking about, as I always do this time of year, what can I get done by the end of the year that I could have in my year-end whip parade? And small library goes so quickly, I could have this done by the end of the year. I did the math. It would take like 200 stitches a day and I could have it done. Do I have 200 stitches a day in me with everything else I'm juggling? Quite possibly not. So I have talked some sense into myself, and I am not going to push myself to do things that it is not reasonable to expect myself to do. But dang it, I want to stitch and get this finished. This is Small Library Stitch and Jewels. It is the first of these monochromatic projects that I've done, and I love it. It is like instant gratification because it is all one color. There is lots of white space. It's not full coverage, but I mean, obviously it doesn't look like full coverage, but it looks like a big project, and it is just making me happy. I am doing a shelf at a time down the side and a little bit at a time over here, and then I'm going to start to fill in the arches. I love this. I have got several of her other projects bookmarked, and I'm eyeballing some old black and white family photos, wondering if there is any possible way on this earth to translate those into monochromatic cross stitch, because ooh, I would love that. Not in my skill set right now, but maybe I could develop that skill set. Somebody asked a while back why you would spend the time to stitch a photograph instead of have that photograph on your wall, and I haven't done a photograph. I have some old family photos that I would love to try to reinterpret embroidery, or one specifically as counter cross stitch, and it's because it's not the same thing as a photograph. I am not a photographer. I want something I did, and I want to spend all of those hours with that image. I may do one and then fizzle out, and that is absolutely fine, but I can definitely see why people do it. Not always specifically why they do the photos they choose, but I also can't interpret how much meaning there is in someone else's photograph. Other project I'm working on is Old Crow Salt Box. I still love everything about it. I did some more of the solid on the house and outlined the windows and did some vine, and you know, when I look at it in real life, I cannot see the difference of the two shades of yellow. I think I see it more clearly here with the camera. So this is what I've been working on. It is not much. I've been trying to figure out, okay, if I can't stitch as much as I want to stitch on a day when I have time that I should be able to stitch, what can I be doing with that time? I think I'm going to start setting up my planner for next year, pull together my UFOs. I don't really want to start kitting new stuff, because if it's a while before I can start that new stuff, I think I'm just going to get crankier than I already am. If you have suggestions for what you've done when you weren't able to stitch as much as you wanted to due to physical limitations, I would love to hear them. I think for me the key right now may be very carefully choosing my projects and going, okay, I can maybe do 100 stitches tonight. Where do I want to put those? The key is definitely taking a lot of breaks and having a project that I can put down and pick back up easily. There is a pump organ at one of the local thrift stores for $49.95, and last time I drove by it looked like it was still there. You can just see it through the window. I did a short about it. It is gorgeous, and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere, and the days are ticking down until it goes half price, and I don't need a pipe organ. I don't know how to play a pipe organ, but it is the most glorious, gorgeous. I would learn to play something, but I don't even know if this thing is playable. We might have to have discussions if it's still there when it drops down to $25. My husband was with me the first time I saw it. He has seen how gorgeous this thing is, and no, I don't really think that we're going to bring it home, but I'm going to be watching through the windows until somebody else brings it home and takes the decision out of my hands. Thanks for watching. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle, and I will be back with you hopefully soon, hopefully with more progress.